welcome our viewers from Kenya and around the world. This program takes a global and exclusive look on issues affecting public interest on health, culture, economics, and politics. But first, let us look at our headlines. The US military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamic group Al-Shabaab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants and further 2 on Sunday killed 28. These were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when US said it had killed 100 militants. Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties. Kenya's former president Daniel Arap Moi has been discharged from hospital days after he was admitted. A local TV station reports, quoting his doctor, that the 94-year-old is responding well to treatment. The Kenyan parliament is a tough playground just like any other playground, whereby the older ones want to override the younger ones. Kenyan women have been fighting for the past 8 years for the enactment of the 2010 gender bill, which states that 2/3 of the members cannot be of the same gender. Ambitious and well-educated women are able to fight for themselves in the workplace and everywhere in this country. But what happens to the young lady living outside the city and has no voice? Is this causing our ladies to seek dubious means to enable themselves to survive, because it's all about survival? Thank you, Neema Ateno, for that comment on Facebook. She says, I feel that gender inequality could be the reason for young girls falling prey to older men.
The sponsor culture is on the rise, and it is a worrying state of affairs. Most young girls are falling prey to older men because of peer pressure and the feeling of fitting in. Where is God in all this? Is it an accepted culture among the youth? Who is to blame?
I don't think selling your body should be it is a good hustle. No, there's nothing that should make you sell your body. Your body is the temple of God, so you should maintain it and keep it holy. So being a socialite and selling your body, be a socialite, get famous, do whatever you want, but your body, just keep it out of your business. And yeah.
I love socialites, by the way. I like them. I think it's a fantastic way to make money in this day and age. Because, come on. Everyone's making money. Everyone's having sex. So, what the hell? We live in an age and period whereby all those things that used to matter in 1950 don't matter no more, because it's not 1950 anymore. So, if you're a socialite, do your thing. Earn your money. Be creative.
I'm telling culture that sponsorship is the word for every day, especially among the youth and the young girls in the campus. It has become like a word, everyday thing that we all discuss. If you have a sponsor, you are the thing, and you have people who will talk about you. And so Sudan is not left behind. We have sponsors. You can actually, in the case of Monica had to go to South Sudan, right? Because of sponsorship, she had this guy from South Sudan as a sponsor.
As the proverb goes, charity begins at home. Reporting for GBN, I am Marion Nekesa.
Marion Nekesa, can you hear me? Thank you very much for joining us. Kindly do tell us why there is a rise of the sponsor culture in Kenya.
The sponsor culture is a topic of discussion, and we are losing our youth to this. And we all know, Paula, that our youth are our future. Back to you, studio.
Thank you, Calvin Kimaili on Twitter. He says, I feel that the sponsor culture is a growing concern that needs to be addressed, because the young ladies are our future. Joining me in studio is Assistant Father Holy Family Basilica Simon Nganga, a nurse Dr. Susan Juguna, and a photographer Sostin Wafula. Father, kindly do tell us what causes the sponsor culture, and is westernization part of the reasons why this culture is on the rise?
The society that we are living in today has so many challenges, and especially with the young people, and more so young girls. We've seen a trend where young girls are having a relationship with a married men, mostly, whom they call sponsors. And many times and mostly these young ladies are going to the so-called sponsors for different reasons, and one of them is they want to get some financial assistance, and this financial assistance has to come hand in hand with the sexual favors. And so you find out that these young girls are going out with these married men, or if they are not married, but these older men and rich, in order to get financial support or financial favors. But the reason for this, I can say, is lack of parental guidance. If these young girls would accept the guidance that they are getting from their parents, and again, if the parents themselves will take up the proper guidance of their young girls, then I don't see how this would be a problem. But one thing that we have to accept, that it is a problem today in the society, and more so today in this country. And I'm not only saying that the education has also to come from only the parents, that the parents are the first educators, and the second.
Nurse Susan, kindly do inform us what causes young girls to go out there to seek favors, and what risks are they exposed to?
Who, for one reason or another, gives money for upkeep, gives money for entertainment, or finances a young lady, and I would want to add, or finances a young man, because we have sponsors both ways. Now, it's unfortunate that we have degenerated to this level. In my view, it's degenerating because it means that you're losing some value. Now, let's start with the young lady. Assume that you are you have this sponsor person who gives you money for, whether it's for your hair, for your clothing, for you to be able to access certain services. What you have done is that you're valuing yourself less than who you are, who God made you to be. Bottom line, you have brought yourself to the level of the coins at the expense of being used. Now, in this age where sexually transmitted infections are so much on the rise, you have actually sold yourself to a future of, I don't care whether I get a sexually transmitted infection, so long as I get the money now. That's, for me, what that sponsor culture is saying. So when we are now talking about the rise in the numbers of HIV and AIDS, and we are talking about the rise in numbers of infections, other infections that are coming up, it's because if you do not value your life beyond the comfort of today, then you have said, then however I live, when I'm 25, when I'm 30, it doesn't really matter. So the sponsor culture is a degeneration of the society.
What do you think prompts these ladies to do this sort of things, or this gentleman?
Where a lady or a gentleman, looks at the fence on the other side and thinks that the other person is better. I am poor, I deserve to have all these material things, and since my parents are not able to get for me, I will get it. Now, it is a mentality, because with poverty there is dignity. When you're a poor person and you have dignity, and somebody says dignity is one thing, nobody can take it away from you. You give it away, but it is never removed from you. Nobody can snatch dignity. So if I am dignified and I am eating sukuma wiki and I can come to school, then I will not get into that culture, because I am okay the way I am. I want to work for what is mine. But where in my mind I decide that money is everything, and if the other person can give money, then it doesn't matter what I do to get that money. Then the problem is in your mindset. And when the problem is in your mindset, you can only deal with it as an individual. Nobody can do that for you. So as a young person, and I'm talking about male or female, because we do have young men who have sponsors, who have older women, who do not care about the future of those young men. They do not care whether they infect them, we give them infections, so long as they use them for the time being, and give you toys. I call them toys. That guy is a toy, you know, and it is for a while. And whether you're male or female, if you prefer the toys at the expense of your own person, if you do not value yourself, you will go for a sponsor.
Thank you.
Mr. Sustin Wafula, you are a photographer. What do you experience on a day-to-day basis, especially leaning towards ethical issues?
Go.
I'm a photographer. I meet so many girls at my working place. For me, I feel modeling is not a career. Still,
Go.
I'm a photographer. I meet so many girls at my working place. For me, I feel modeling is not a career. Still.
Thank you, Teresia Ndumo. She says, I agree with the assistant father that parents are to blame for the rise of this culture. Mtoto mleavyo ndivyo akuavyo.
Action.
I am not trying to victimize anybody, but selling your body is not the solution to your problems. Bearing in mind that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. I know that being a youth is quite expensive and resources are quite scarce, but does it mean that you have to scoop so low for you to fit into society? I know we sometimes want to fit into our peers and want to drive the most expensive cars, but your loved ones will truly be worried when they see you driving expensive cars but no source of income. Let us continue this discussion at GBN or at Paula Oyomo. This is your host, Paula Oyomo, and it has been great having you.